Check, check. Check, check, check. I hope y'all are ready. Thanks, KOB. What's up, dog? Old KOB on the cob? Corn dog? Okay, I don't know what's happening. Kevin, this song here is called Lazy Boy Blues, which I felt like would be a perfect opening song for both me and Sam to do a show. Two quite lazy boys doing a show. Let's just fucking start this. Come on, y'all. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. This right here is the Brent Gill Show, Comedians in Quarantine, episode 11, y'all. Episode 11. We got Sam Tallent as our guest tonight. Very excited to have him on the show. Wiles. Oh god. Oh yeah. Mara, that's a fair. There's gonna be a lot of girth on this show tonight. We're gonna have Sam Tallent on the line. If you don't know who Sam Tallent is, you're gonna learn today. We're gonna talk about a few of his things in his life, and including his time in a punk rock band. Then we're going to talk about his the comedy special that he's currently taping, and then we're going to talk about his upcoming book. And if we get some time, we'll talk about this new thing he's about to do with, or that he already shot, that's about to come out with William H. Smith. I think it was William H. Smith. I got my Red Bull. Before we get started, big thanks to our sponsors that sponsor my shows and yours truly. Big Top Studios. Oh, I almost did it right, motherfucker. Big Top Studios, Terrapin Care Station, Pearl Street, motherfucking Dental. And, of course, our booze sponsors over at Tommy Knocker and Pilsner Urquell. If you're joining us for the first time, log into your YouTube. Everyone's got a fucking YouTube account. Log in, pop up some questions in the chat. It's a bit of a lively chat tonight. So make sure that you pop in some questions there as the show goes through. If you would like. If you want to just lurk in the shadows, I get it. I've been doing that for years. Okay, enough about my sex life. Anyway, God, we're in day, what is this, day 48 of the quarantine? Something like that. Who knows what time is? It's just a construct made by the government. That's what that is. We are, I don't know, Corn Dog, you're pretty active over here in the chat. How's your quarantine coming so far? Is it going pretty well, hopefully? I don't know what y'all are doing to kill some time. I've been watching a ton of movies. I've been trying to do some self-explorations a little bit. I smoked DMT 2 days ago to try I'm just trying to fucking get my head in order. I was like, I want to do some self-exploration and some self growth. And I smoked some DMT, and I did not break through. Second time I tried, have not broken through either time. But I I did get all fucking fuzzy, and I called my friend up, who's got he does a show pretty much on DMT. Really great, funny dude. And I asked his name's Shane Moss, and I was like, Shane, does DMT go bad? And he goes, no, why? And I told him, what I was trying to do. I was like, I'm trying to have some self-exploration here, some meditation. And he goes, ooh, yeah, no, DMT is not the thing for that. What you're looking for is mushrooms. DMT is where you want to go when you're curious. Like if you want to see where you go when you die, that's when you smoke DMT. I was like, yep, that's definitely not what I was looking to do to pass the time. It's pretty close to marijuana radio. Go fuck yourself, Kevin. You tuned into my live show, okay? This is my deal. Wait till I show the comedy clip later of my own comedy. It's gonna be tits. What did I see? This is also my problem here, as I get easily distracted. By the chat rooms. So you're going to see me kind of lose that. So anyway, yeah, I tried DMT. It didn't work. I got all fuzzy. Shit got real weird real quick. And then I laid in my bed. I recorded it too. This is my favorite part. I busted out my camera and I started recording the whole experience just to make sure something didn't go wrong. And right before I did it, I said to the camera, I go, "Mom, Dad, family, I love you. If this goes wrong, my bad." It was just for self-exploration. And I think the whole video. I haven't watched the video because I was there for it. But but I remember it had a lot of me rolling around on my stomach, or I'm sorry, on my bed with my stomach showing. So I'm sure it was a pretty top-notch video there of my quote self-exploration. Kevin O'Brien here in the chat room. You did 2 shows this week, wrote a ton, made art, and I got my boogie bash tomorrow night. What the fuck is a boogie bash? You found some Well, to be honest, I think Kevin O'Brien is winning this is winning this quarantine thus far. You know what I mean? Like you found mushrooms in your coat today. You got a bunch of shit done. You made art. I want to know what this art is of yours. I don't trust Kevin O'Brien art unless it's on a stick. Picking those boogers. I don't know what that means, but I'm excited that whoever is putting that in the chat is getting that out of their face. You can't have those boogies up in the face when you're trying to do drugs. Anyway, I'm well, I appreciate you, Love Marijuana Radio. Sophie, what's going on? Yeah, you should have seen. Part of me kind of I probably should have dropped a clip of that video in, because it was just a lot of me, like, again, like rolling around like a beached walrus, just like, oh my god, this is fucking nuts. And from all accounts that I read, if you're able to dictate words, you haven't broken through into the DMT world. So I knew immediately that my DMT experience was not going according to plan, if you will. But it's hard to get mushrooms in California, especially when everyone's on lockdown. If you can't play golf, I don't think you can get mushrooms out here. Now, I will say this: a DJ stream live. Oh, that's your boogie bash. Oh, okay, I gotcha. So Corn Dog, Kevin O'Brien's gonna be doing a live DJ set. It's tomorrow night, Saturday night live with Kevin O'Brien on the zeros and ones. Okay. Well, I promised people over the past few episodes of this show that I would talk about my experience, or my X5. And I have an X5 that I found out used to be owned and operated by the Mexican cartel. I'm sorry, what's that? Well, it's funny you should ask. Well, I was sitting in the back of a K9 unit in Utah, and I had just gotten pulled over for, quote, not using a turn signal. Okay. And it's probably because I forgot to use it, because I was swerving, because I was writing a joke about how high I was in a state that hates weed the most. I know, kind of ironic, especially to get pulled over and arrested for weed. So the cop pulls me over, I roll down my windows, and the problem is you can only roll down one window. If you roll down 2, then you get a cross breeze, and it just fucking wafts in this cop's face, right? I'm a fucking idiot. This is the second time in 10 years this has happened. Just mid-rip, cop sees me, and I'm like, fuck, right? So, cop pulls me over, walks up to the car, passenger side of the car, and I swear to God, he gets to my window, and this is his response. He like walks up and he goes, okay, well, how much marijuana have you smoked, and how much do you have in the car? And of course, me being the confident, not high man that I am, I was like, marijuana? I don't have any of that in the car. And he goes, well, it reeks like weed in here. You for sure do. So why don't you tell me what's going on? And I'm like, no, I don't have marijuana. I mean, I'm coming from California, as you can tell by my license plate, but which is a legal state, but I don't. So I have smoked in this car in the past, but I don't have any with me. I wouldn't be that dumb. And then he pulls me out of the car immediately, and and I have to say this because I handled, just a little foreshadowing here, I handled every part of the post pullover correctly. Everything before the pullover, I totally failed, right? I see the cop, I start freaking out. I go to turn my cruise control down, but I accidentally turned it off. So while I am trying to hide shit in my car, because this dumbass doesn't put all of his weed in one place, because I'm not going to get caught. I'm a fucking retard. And so I'm trying to put away paraphernalia, pipes, jars, shit like that. And then as I'm trying to put that stuff away, my car is just rapidly just losing speed because I turned off the cruise control system, right? So then I realize, oh great, I'm going 60 in an 80 now. And so then I turn the cruise control back up. So now I'm speeding up. So I look guilty immediately, right? So cop rolls up to the car, pulls me over, says to me that all the weed stuff, pulls me out of the car, does a roadside weed test, like an immediate weed test, and he does it twice. He does it once in the car, and then he takes me out of the car, does it again, and I beat it both times. And he goes, well, we got other tests we can do for this. That's how good at weed I am. I can be freshly baked and still beat the Are You High in Utah test, right? That's just called being a goddamn professional stoner, right? So so he puts me in the back of the car, and it's a like I said, it's a canine unit. And one thing that you don't really know until you're in the back of a canine unit car is that they give more space to the dog than they give to you, the human, right? So you're just sitting in this tiny little suburban, like Tahoe jail cell little corner in the back seat, and then the dog's got this massive thing. This dog sounds like a fucking like a lion in in its little car cage. Like it sounded like they had hired the cat from Tiger King to be in next to me. I mean, this thing sounded huge. It sounded like it ripped my fucking face off. And I'm sitting there nervous as shit because this cop literally took an hour and a half, if not a little more, to go through my entire car. Takes off door panels, takes the roof panel down, fucking goes through my hood, like pops the hood, goes through the whole engine bay, takes the shit out of the trunk, pulls the spare tire out, goes through the whole back of the trunk, looks under the car. I mean, you name it, they disassembled it and looked through it, right? And of course, they don't fucking tell you, or of course, they don't put it back together. They're not going to the cops aren't going to put your car back together for you. All they're going to do is be like, nope, sorry, we didn't find any drugs. And the car is new to me at this point. So another reason the car got pulled over is because the car is registered in California, because technically I purchased it from a dealer, but it's insured in Colorado, which is technically where I live, right? So the state of California didn't get my insurance because it wasn't California insurance. So on the police side, they see that I don't have insurance. And I was like, well, I'm going to register it in Colorado. It's not a big deal, whatever. So I got no proof of insurance because the internet doesn't work and government says this guy doesn't have insurance. And he pulls me over, goes through the whole car, comes back. I'm not joking you. Comes back with his hands like this. This is how he's got two. If you're listening on the podcast version and not watching the video here, he's got two hands in front, like he's trying to hold like a armful of gremlins, just up front, and just a bunch of little gizmos. And he comes back to the car. He's got like 5 or 6 different weed jars, 2 pipes. He's got a plastic bag of 5 different pills, right? But there's like 30 pills in there, but they're all different looking pills. which I can explain all of this, right? And so he comes back into the car and he goes, yeah, this doesn't look good. And I'm like, oh no, this isn't good, right? It's never good when a cop in Utah finds a Ziploc baggie filled with pills just on the floor of your back seat. You know, not even in the glove box or the armrest, just on the floor, as if I'm some fucking Boyle Heights, East Los Angeles fucking drug dealer. Boy, that was profiling. But my friend lives over there, and he's a drug dealer. Anyway, so he tells me that I'm going to have to explain all this stuff. So we're going to fast forward this because this kind of gets to a long story. But he goes through all this stuff. I show him my medical marijuana card. It's expired by like 4, maybe 5 days, right? They won't accept it, period. So he's going to keep all the weed. He's going to keep the pipes. Then we have to go through and explain every one of the prescription pills that I had. I'm like, look, I was in a wicked bad car accident in September of 2018. I got back issues now because of it. These are the pills for that. This is this one. This is that one. This is whatever. And he was like, well, you're gonna have to prove it to me. And after all of this was pretty much settled, he says to me, and I knew I wasn't going to jail. I was going to for sure get a ticket, and it was going to cost me some cash, $1,505 worth of cash. But he says to me, he goes, yeah, sorry about this. The reason I took so long going through your car is this car used to be owned by or used by the Mexican cartel. And I was like, wait, what? Like I got so excited. I had to admit, I had to tell myself, like, all right, Gil, calm down. You're in a fucking cop car in Utah. Quit being so excited. You know, like I was so pumped, and I was like, tell me more. How do you know it was a cop car? And he starts pointing out all these things in the car, which then these light bulbs started to just go off in my head. This is a 2001 BMW X5 that I got with 72,000 miles that I got for $4,000. All right. The engine, the transmission, immaculate shape. Car looks pretty good. Once you really kind of look at the car, it's, you know, kind of falling apart a little bit. Sunroof didn't work because they cut the wires to it. Had no idea why. And then all of it makes sense because he's like, yeah, why do you think your sunroof doesn't work? Because they would pull the headliner down and load the top with drugs. Why do you think your door panels come off so easy? Because I was like, this is fucking awesome. And he's like, I mean, I don't think it's awesome. And I was like, yeah, it's not that cool. But this all explains why. So the cop ends up getting all the information from where I purchased the car from in California, because the car is a one-car owner from Texas, and it got sold. It was on the border of Texas and Mexico, which of course, the engine and transmission are in great shape. Of course, it's in low miles because all it did was drive back and forth from Mexico to Texas and Texas to Mexico, transporting drugs. And the last thing you want when you have a fucking SUV filled to the brim with millions of dollars of drugs is your car to break down on the side of the road. So it was in immaculate shape. It was super cheap because it got sold at auction. And then this guy, where they saw me and like, oh, this is the perfect person to sell a cartel car to. So now I want to get a vanity license plate, and it's just CAR-TEL. I kind of want to call it my cartel car. My cartel car. So that's a true story. So just be aware of when you're buying cheap cars, which is, you know, I like to brag that I'm really good at finding good deals on cars, but they might be a cartel car, you know? It's either a dead guy or it's a cartel car, one of the two. I'm pretty good at finding both. My convertible is a dead guy car. People say, like, don't you think he's going to haunt you? I was like, who haunts their car? They haunt their house and their loved ones and their ex-wives. So that's the cartel car story. Pretty crazy. True story. Corn Dog O'Brien, you're drinking red wine. Yeah, dude. I'm drinking, bro, I've said this several times on the show. Big fan of this Costco brand wine. It's as good as it gets, particularly this Cabernet Sauvignon. This shit is fucking fire. Also, Kevin, what a coincidence. Sam's coming up in just a second, but get Mara to pay attention because she's actually in this clip that we're about to play. I'm going to play a clip, and while that's going, I'm going to get Sam T on the line and chat with him for a bit. So enjoy the clip. Go get yourself some Costco wine. It's cheap. It's delicious. I drink it, and they're not paying me for it. Not yet. So this clip today, what are we watching? Information. This is from the studio session we did. And Information is the live news show that we do with weird news and comedians riffing on weird news. We shot this one this was our first studio recording back in 2016, 2017. And we got Sam Tallent in it, Mara Wiles, and Nathan Lund, and just a couple minutes here. So enjoy this clip while I get Sam on the horn, and we'll see you in just a second. In Putnam County, Florida. This I think is one of my favorite stories of the week. There was a 4-year-old kid from the pro-gun poster that shoots his mother in the back.
Oh my God, what's wrong with his face?
So this right here is Jamie and Lane Gilt and a gun. And
Guilt, huh?
Yeah, what's the gun's
Is that
name?
the father of the gun? 'Cause I bet you she's put that thing inside of her a couple times.
Whoa, nice.
Mara!
Nasty Mara.
Get in it.
Miss Wiles, if you're nasty.
31-year-old Jamie Gilt was shot in the back after her loaded .45 caliber pistol slid out from under the front seat. Her son, 4 years old, was then able to get out of his car seat, get down to the floor of the car, grab the gun, start playing with it, and then shot her in the back. Wow. This is the same woman who bragged the day before, about getting her son jacked up to go shooting, which presumably, since his face was blurred, this was presumably the picture.
Which one's the gun? I don't know.
When she says jacked up, does she mean just give him a bunch of Code Red Mountain Dew? Said, go nuts, Caden.
Yeah.
Caden. Brand Drew.
Now, because of this, Gilt is now facing second-degree misdemeanor charges
Against herself,
which carries 181-day jail, according to Captain Gator Deloche.
It's an actual gator.
With a hat
I've been the sheriff of this town for the last 35 years.
When asked for comment, Captain Gator Deloche ate our microphone and cameraman.
It sounds to me like this has been the moment this kid has been training for. He got out of his own car seat, did a backflip onto the ground, picked up the rifle, and shot his mom.
The only thing,
Baby genius.
the only thing that can stop a bad mom with a gun is a
Gator.
good little boy with a gun.
And a .45 caliber is a huge, like that's a big gun. Like
It's big enough for a man, but it's meant for a woman.
Is she alive or did she die?
She's fine.
She's fine.
I mean, is she fine?
I mean,
Guns don't kill people.
Gator Deloche.
Gator kills people.
Gators kill people, yeah.
Gator finds them and he gets shot dead.
Who gave that gator a gun and a badge?
The state of Florida.
Yeah, the people.
The taxpayers did.
That's the next show that Chuck Norris is going to be on. He's going to be his deputy.
Yeah, that gator couldn't be reached because it's caucusing for Trump.
I love that show. I happy to have clips of that from that sweet studio episode that we did back in April of 2016. Done it a lot at Rhino, and one of the stars of that show is our guest tonight. We're very happy to have him here. If you would come to the screen, let's talk to Sam Tallent. What's up, buddy?
Hey, it's me, Sam T, y'all. Was that studio that failed immediately after your show?
No, they're still there, but that was the same one. Yes, one of the same.
Oh, they just banned you from ever performing there again.
It wasn't that aggressively bad.
I mean, I was there. My ankle still hurt from carrying that show.
Oh, that's not true at all.
Wait, was Mara on that one?
Mara was on that one.
Oh yeah, Mara rules too.
Mara, she's watching the show right now. Well, Corn Dog's
What's-
watching the show.
Yeah, he doesn't let her watch. They're under Shia law. That beard's upsetting. I really hate that beard.
It's so much. It's
Turn your head sideways. Oh, look at that. Look at that Abe Lincoln. Look like you're about to emancipate.
You
And
know
I
what
know
I've
you're
been
not into
doing with
that.
it? I've been trying to fluff it up. I've got this comb that I've been kind of brushing it out with, so it kind of fluffs out, and then I'll go down with it so it kind of like pulls straight.
You must have bought that comb just for your beard because you don't have
100%.
any hair.
Well, you think I like wearing hats at 34 years old? I fucking have to wear hats at 34.
It's tough stitching two hats together to fit your head. That's the issue. You ever use that thing on your pubes? You ever switch it up with your pube beard? Your pube brush?
No. My pubes are actually shorter than my beard.
Oh, that's bad information. We should tell the World Health Organization about that, and they'll come in and quarantine your crotch.
I still keep my pubes pretty short, even though no one's seeing them.
Quit chewing on that.
Okay.
Yeah, Jesus, dude.
Well,
Haven't you read the rules?
No, but here's the thing I like doing is leaving it in, kind of like.
Yeah, I know you like leaving it in. You love soaking. You've never pulled out once in your life. You're disgusting. How many prostitutes have you hired during this quarantine?
None of them will come over.
Oh, God. That's not the answer.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No. He's whoring, Emmy.
I'm not whoring. It's just fun.
Attempted whoring. Attempted solicitation. My wife's here, y'all.
What's up, Emily? What's going on with your headphones? Why does she just not want to hear you?
No. Yeah, we've been together for 6 weeks. No one wants to hear anyone talk. We're getting along very well. She's watching Bones for the 5th time, so that's what she's up to.
How is quarantining with a loved one?
It's great. I'm excelling. If you had anyone that loved you, you might know. But your inability to let a woman in has prevented that from happening. Your broken brain. It's great, dude. I love her dearly, and she makes me stronger and reminds me to wash my hands. And she turned me on to hand lotion, so we're good. We've been switching off cooking dinner. I'm baking bread. I'm making cheese right now. I'm really excelling in quarantine.
We're interesting.
I'm thriving. This was my day-to-day anyway, except for I'd have somewhere to go at 8 o'clock and then be back by 9:30. There's literally nothing new, except for I haven't been to an airport.
Dude, how about that? Not going to an airport after a while? It kind of is
crazy.
nice. It's kind of nice.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
And I bought all these tickets for the RTD train to the airport. Now they're
Yeah.
just going to go to waste.
Do they not get, are they not able to, are they not throughout the whole year?
They're good for 40 days.
Oh. Is RTD just not going to not reimburse them?
I don't know. I haven't called Mr. RTD, but I'm assuming I'm out $36.
Call Dr. TD. Because he's a doctor, actually. He's not. Because it's the CU line. It's
right.
The Anschutz.
I think he's a witch doctor, a shaman, actually, because that train is magic.
That's where I got my DMT from, a shaman.
Okay, well, that's not surprising at all. That's not a fun fact, even. It's just a fact.
You're gonna have to pull your head back a little bit, because just
the people want full head.
It's you're full head now. You've been half heading, I think, this whole time.
Looks like I'm being born.
Yeah, you're just crowning through the camera.
Gross. Well, Brent, I hope you know that I haven't done any of these, despite the myriad requests. I only have done yours because I like you and I miss you.
Oh wow.
Well, not that I'm special or anything, but I think everyone's oversaturating the market that no one cares about in the first place. So I'm letting people miss me a little bit.
What are your thoughts on what's happening with quarantine content?
Oh, man. Well, I'm sure people have been clamoring for – I don't want to name any names, but, there's a lot of people putting stuff out. I mean, I'm sure that your 12 followers are fucking stoked. All the Gila monsters that you're doing daily podcasts with Evan Johnson and Elliot Woolsey. I can't believe you didn't have me on earlier.
Well, Sam, the reason I didn't want to have you on early is I wanted to wait until I ironed out all the kinks so that I could provide you with the attention to detail that you deserve.
Well, I appreciate you coming up with a lie that quickly.
Dude, I've been coming up with lies that fast since I was 9 years old.
I know, dude. That's why we get along, because we're deceptive. Have you been adhering to the strict rules of the quarantine, or have you been mixing your social circles?
Well, me and David Borey have been hanging out on a pretty regular basis in person.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Two of the dirtiest people alive have come together to create a super strain of this deadly disease. That's good.
And like, I went into his house and washed my hands, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we got to wash hands." I was like, "That's not a good sign at all."
No, he's definitely washed his hands more this last month than he has his entire life. He's on a post-wipe washer. I know that to be true.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm
Really?
kidding. He's lovely. No, I don't know. I'm
God.
sure he washes after a wipe.
I mean, I don't
I
know.
hope so. We've shared a lot of nachos, so I'm hoping. And Lord knows he can't go a half hour without pulling the plug on a butt grenade. So I hope he's wiping.
Speaking of butt grenades, that's a nose grenade coming out of your wife back there.
Oh, you could hear that?
Yeah.
Emmy, they heard you doing lines off that Bible. So chill. They're graduating Emmy early. She's going to be a doctor May 1st.
Are they graduating her early because they're like, "Yo, we need doctors immediately"?
Yeah, dude, and they're not offering to pay them, though. They're like, just come out here and die on the front lines, and everyone's like, well, why don't you give us our fucking doctor pay? And they're like, no, you're a hero. That's the most upsetting thing about this whole thing, is how it's being framed. These brave nurses and doctors and everyone on the front line are heroes, as opposed to just fucking chaff being thrown into the death machine because this is an easily preventable pandemic.
It was
You know?
an easily preventable pandemic.
Yeah, until your president fucked it up.
Whoa,
So, I'm kidding.
First
I know
of
you're not
all,
allowed
this is
to
the
vote.
first time I ever voted in my life.
I know you did, pal. I was proud of you. I know you did. I know how much it hurt you to pull that trigger for a woman. But that was a brave act on your part, and I appreciate that.
My favorite part is you have to have a witness for your ballot, like when you mail it in. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize that, so I like get there and I'm like looking everything over, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I need a witness for this." And so,
I need a witness.
So I like asked some random dude, I was like, "Hey, can you sign this for me?" And he's like, "What?" I was like, I've never voted. I don't know. I didn't know I needed a witness for this." And he's like, "Sure." And fucking signs, and I drop it in. Who knows if it counted? Who knows if I'm actually registered correctly? I don't know anything.
No, your vote wasn't counted. I'm so disenfranchised. I was already anti anything, and now I'm just ready to fucking buy a gun and kneel on a flag.
Do you not have a gun yet?
No, we don't.
Really? Is that an Emily thing or a Sam thing?
It's more of a me thing, man. She wants one. Let's not talk about whether we're armed or not, whether our home is protected or not in front of these, I'm guessing, 12 viewers.
I called pretty close. I called my dad, and I was like, "Dad, I only have 100 rounds of ammunition. Like, I only have one box of ammo. Should I go get some more?" And he's like, "Well, who are you planning on using it on?" And I was like, "I don't know. Whoever, like, it's gonna be martial law soon. There's just gonna be riots and raids."
And then did he just gave you a list of people to use it on? He's like, here's the senators, here's some representatives, here's some judges that need to be taken out.
He also told me I was an idiot for wanting to go get more ammo, and then he said, like I told him, I was like, I can't buy ammo here if I don't have a California driver's license, so I was going to go to Vegas and buy it. And he goes, "Oh, so now you're going to transport it across state lines with a firearm that's not registered?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, that's none of this is raising flags for you?" And I was like, "No, this all seems pretty legitimate."
You don't have you just admitted you don't have your guns unregistered. That's what you just did.
But it's in Colorado or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, can I hold it for you?
Yeah.
All right, let me get over there. I'll get a bunch of different prints on it. What do you and Bori do with your time?
Well, yesterday we drove to Malibu and ate lobster rolls.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That was the CDC said that was an important part of quarantine, was eating shellfish that aren't native to the region you live in. That's good.
I think. Well, I mean, this place was known for it. This person just wanted to let you know. Rebecca Nolan just wanted you to know that, Sam, you keep touching your face, so quit.
My hands are clean.
Well, we don't know that.
Oh, they're so clean. Also, I'm touching my face because I have Miller Lite in this can, and I keep spilling it because I have Bell's palsy now. That's a different thing. I don't actually. I'm not Jerry the King Lawler. So you
Okay, I
had
don't
a
even know who that
lobster
is.
roll.
Yeah, so we have lobster rolls, and then we'll smoke a bunch of weed together.
Same pipe, I assume.
Oh yeah, same pipe, same blunt. Like
Yep.
one of us will
Mhm.
lick it, and then we'll and then we'll hand it to the other person. That person licks it, just like we're
Yeah.
best for kind of like the blood, that kind of thing.
A blood pack. Didn't
Yeah.
you tell me you had bisque?
Yeah, I had some lobster bisque.
Yes, good. The one soup you can't boil. Very good. That's what people should be eating in a time of pandemic is cream-based soups.
I also heard that this virus thrives on like phlegm in your body, which apparently is what cream and milk-based products produce in your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be smart with it,
I don't believe that at all, but at least you have that gun I can borrow, so that's good. Emily will probably wind up using it on me.
Using what?
A gun. No
Uh,
comment from her. That's good.
No comment. Yeah, hey,
Mm.
dude, get that 45 caliber. It's a 3.5-inch barrel, so unless the person is within 10 feet from you, you can't hit anything.
Yeah, it's a 3.5-inch barrel is what you tell all the girls. That's in your Tinder bio.
But it gets bigger
Look,
when you
man.
cock it.
Okay, very good. Brent, I gotta say, I haven't missed many people during this time. I've missed you. I've missed Stroop. I've missed Steve AJ. I talked to Bori enough, but I missed the Comedy Works bar
Yeah.
and making fun of whoever did poorly on the show. And I just missed. That's what I missed. I don't miss the actual act of stand-up. I missed everything that surrounds stand-up.
Yeah. The hanging out part, the shit talk. That's what like I think after the novelty of doing jokes and getting an immediate response from that, after that kind of wore off and it's just what we do, it's the unknownness of the shit talk afterwards. That's always a blast. Plus, who knows? You could get shit faced without even being prepared for it.
Right, yeah. And then you get your fucking tab from Comedy Works and it's $6.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep.
Then you're like, I don't have any cash. And they're like, oh, this old trick. Okay. Put it on Brant Tobler's tab. It's always open. But yeah, I mean, I'm missing people I never thought I'd miss in my entire life. Like, it's fun. It was fun to goof around.
Yeah. It's still, I mean, do you think that, and we don't really need to get into this as much as I really want to, but do you think that comedy and live entertainment will be as it was 6 months ago?
Well, the only thing I hope that comes out of this is you never get booked again. I think
I'm already booked in June, dog.
that would be a win. Yeah, those bookings are fun. The ones you're just like fucking fingers crossed and praying, hold on, and then you get that email and you don't open it because you're a wuss. I don't think stand-up will be back for a while, but I am hoping that this culls a lot of people who should not be doing stand-up. Like, if you're very bad at stand-up and you come back from this and you're like, oh, boy, as soon as we're out of quarantine, I can't wait to tackle my dream even harder. You need to re-up your Zoloft prescription. The only thing that will end people doing stand-up, if it's not this, is a brave man with a gun. So...
One of us on this screen is going to have one.
I know. That's just what I'm thinking about, man. It's like a bunch of bad comics, like, writing a bunch of jokes that a bunch of other bad comics are writing right now. And they're like, I can't wait to bring this nuanced perspective to the stage.
Dude, there was a club up in Burbank that had a open mic that they were offering. And they were charging.
Flappers.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but I'll let you say it.
I don't care.
They were charging for the open mic on a Zoom session.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that already have no money, who just lost all their jobs already and are bad at what they do, now have to pay money to go tell jokes in a Zoom session.
Yeah, man. This is really the end of the world. This is the apocalypse. I don't know, dude. I mean, people are going to not have money, and they're not going to be eager to sit next to strangers in a small, unventilated room for a long time.
Do you think that will stay the same for everybody, or do you think that that like venues now will start spacing people out?
No, because they're not going to be around. So many clubs are not going to survive this.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, think about some of the clubs that you work. like they don't have money saved. The clubs that I work, they don't have money saved. They're
Yeah.
a fucking month-to-month place, you know?
But a lot of those places, though, are parts of other businesses. For example, my show is part of another business. Comedy Bar is part of another business. Laughing Skull is part of another business. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Like,
and
I
all the
don't.
businesses they're attached to are also closed.
Yeah, but do you think that those businesses aren't strong enough to support themselves?
I don't know, man. I just
Yeah.
don't have. I have very little hope for comedy bouncing back. This is definitely popping the bubble. The bubble's popped. This is it. This is the end. And all those, we were just starting to start headlining more and more, and now we're gonna have to be bumped back to feature, or in your case, door guy. So it's it's just tough, man. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
What'd
Yeah.
you see? A bird fly by the window?
No, I'm looking at. So I got two screens here. So I got the chat and the stream over here, like the
Yeah.
YouTube information, and then I got the broadcasting software through here.
And where's the violent misogynistic pornography? Which screen is that on?
Oh, that's on a different computer.
Oh, good. One that you can just smash with a hammer and
Yeah.
throw in the dumpster.
Yeah,
if
well,
need
like
be.
this is a good computer. Like this is the public facing computer. You know,
Yeah.
laptop is where all the shit goes down. The one connected to my television set in my living room. That's where all the magic happens.
Well, here's something weird too: is how many of our friends had not even 1 month's worth of rent saved. It's like you're 35. You don't have $800 emergency money? What's
Right.
going on here?
Right.
And I don't like landlords. I think they should all burn. But it's crazy to understand how very little all of us are prepared for not having money every month.
Right.
It's a bummer.
Oh yeah. I can get through a couple months and
Yeah,
the-
we're fine.
But
We're
like the
smart with
thing,
our
but the
money.
thing that sucks most is this is eating into my emergency fund. This is my thing that I only touch in rare occasions.
Right, like a vagina.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. All of my stock market shit is down half. You know what I mean? Like I've been fucking kicked in the dick.
How's your
Crypto,
cryptocurrency?
luckily. Crypto's good because I've been buying the dip, and a lot of people are worried about the destabilization of the dollar and also the stock market. They don't know when the bottom's going to hit, so crypto's actually been pretty solid right now. I mean, it's down about a third, but still, it's coming up, and I'm buying it when it's low.
Yeah.
This is not interesting.
I mean,
no one out there, all these people out there who are waiting for their $1,200 and eating each other's fingernails, don't want to hear about us making sound investments. I apologize. I used to be a scumbag. I used to be the biggest scumbag. I used to sleep on floors. As soon as I got a little bit of money, I started saving it because I was terrified of not having it again.
Your bounce back, your life curve is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew you from way back when you
hosted the first mic I ever did.
Yeah, was that at Redfish?
Redfish. Yeah, you're the first person to ever pay me, the first person to ever headline me. Yeah.
I saw talent in you, Sam Tallent.
I know you did, bud. I love you dearly.
I saw talent in you. So you start. Well, then let's just get into this. Enough of this Coinbase stuff because we'll have to talk about that later because that also fascinates me. I have a lot of Coinbase money that I don't even know how to fucking access anymore.
Just don't touch it. Oh, you got locked out? You lost your password?
But I have to verify myself or I'm going to lose it all.
Verify.
And I
Do
bought
that.
it when you told me to buy it, and then
Yep,
you're
that was
like,
a bad
get
call.
it now. And a horrible call. And I'm
Yep,
like, what are you doing listening to Sam fucking Tallent for fucking investment information? Are you a retard? What is wrong with you? The dude
And I
that
didn't
lives in a
even-
beanbag chair. Let's go talk to him about sound investments.
You live, you learn,
It
pal.
dropped
You know?
immediately. Like I literally, like when I did it, I was like, I could lose
I know.
$400 right now.
Yeah.
I pretty much did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've lost thousands. You know what I mean? So I don't feel too bad for you.
Well, Sam, you started in Elizabeth, Colorado, which is the country, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty country-ish.
1,000 people. Yeah. Libertarian hotbed. I was there today. I slept in my mom and dad's house last night to give Emily a break.
Oh, gotcha.
Beautiful stuff. I mean, I love it out there. It's great. It's still pretty. I'm glad I don't live there, but it's fun to visit.
It's just, I mean, it was one of those towns you don't appreciate growing up.
Right,
just like
yeah.
Monument and um, Sam is the Jim Cramer of crypto.
Who said that?
Kevin
Kevin O'Brien?
O'Brien.
Yeah, yeah. That hurts, Kev. At least I don't look like Jim Cramer, Kevin, all right?
I think it's a good buy, and you need to buy it. Buy,
Yeah.
buy.
Stellar will never hit $8. Yeah, it's rough. Sorry, Emily wants me to quit yelling.
No, because her bones. I get it.
Yeah. She's
So-
only seen this episode 7 times.
So you started in there. You started doing improv. Then from there, that's kind of how you got into this, and then from there you went to comedy, correct?
Yeah, I did improv for like a year, and then I never really wanted to be a stand-up. I always wanted to be like an improviser, sketch comedian guy. I thought I'd go to Second City and do that shit, but then I saw the talent base in Denver improvisers, and while there were some very good ones, there's also like Pete, the guy who was recently divorced. There's Janice, the widower, whose dream has always been the stage. So you're up there trying to perform with these people who are doing "what's up" type jokes
Oh God.
sincerely. So yeah, I moved over to stand up because it's a solitary pursuit. You live and die based on your own blade, and I like that.
It's just I absolutely agree. You have no one up there to save you. Like you don't have a band to fucking play great behind you while you're sucking
Right.
wind up front.
Yeah, but stand up is cool, but improv is great because it teaches you how to fail. It teaches you how to go on stage for literally a half hour with no plan and eat shit. So that's like a good feeling to have because then you're like, oh, these jokes aren't that good, but at least I know there's punchlines involved.
Sure.
So I think it's a really good skill.
So improv prepared you for what you do, having zero plan and going up there for a half hour and just kind of rambling and hoping it's funny.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And treating the crowd like a scene partner. I mean, that is what I try and stay away from my act as much as possible. You know that. Like, that is not wrong. And luckily, I figured out how to not bomb doing it, It's always exciting. A Sam T set's always exciting. Let's put it that way.
It's always different. That's
Yeah.
that's what I will say. You can hear the same joke twice, but it'll never be told the same way. That's a pretty sweet little skill you have. So here's what baffles me, and here's a part of you. I know a lot about your comedy and your life as a comedian. What I don't know is, Dick, about you being a musician. And I know that there's this obsession with comedians and musicians, or comedians want to be musicians, and musicians want to be comics.
Yeah.
Is this, like, when were you a musician in your life? Like, what, like, explain to me this portion of your life where you were this punk rocker.
I was in bands in high school with my best friend Clay DeHaan. You know Clay DeHaan, Too Tall Clay.
Okay.
So Clay learned how to play bass along to my drumming, and we were in a bunch of different like bands together in high school, like punk bands. And then he went to college in Ithaca, New York, at Ithaca College. And I was in school. I was at Metro. Shout out Roadrunners, and doing improv and like not liking school. And I got a wanderlust, so I kind of dropped out of college for a while and moved up to Ithaca to live on me and Clay lived on like an anarchist commune called Goblin House. And just, he would go to school and come home and I'd have dinner ready. Then we'd like practice music, until he had to go to bed. It was a very codependent, beautiful friendship, which I don't know if I've ever been more creative in that, in a period of time as I was during Red versus Black, which we put out 3 albums and toured the country 4 times and played, I think, 26 states or something. Like, it taught me how to tour. But I would go to Ithaca. I would be in a band with Clay. I would move back home and try and be in college again. And then I'd move back there, run out of money, come back to Colorado. I lived there on and off for like 2.5 years.
Wait, did you do this before comedy and improv?
So I think I did it I did improv like 2005 into 2006. And then I think I was in the finals of the Comedy Works contest the first time in 2007 or 8. And that the finals was like the 5th time I'd ever been on stage.
Wow.
I like did Redfish. I mean, I did improv and shit, so it kind of counted. But
Sure.
I think that was the 5th stand-up set was the finals, which means 2 of those 5 before that were the contest itself. And that pissed off a lot of people. And then I would move up to Ithaca. So I took a lot. This was like, I don't know. It was all kind of congruent timelines, but the band was definitely preeminent.
what was it like in a punk, like, because all I can imagine is small rock venues like the Satellite in Denver.
No. We're talking people's houses, basements. We
Oh,
were very hard line, like anti-capitalist anarchists. So we only played all ages venues. We were completely DIY. We would not play anywhere that wouldn't let kids in because that was really important to us growing up, was being able to go to shows. So we would only play like venues that didn't have a door minimum or a bar or anything like that.
did you make any money ever?
No, never a dime. No. Yeah, the most money I've ever lost. That was the beauty though, is I only had like $40 to my name from about 2005 until 3 weeks ago. So no, we never made a dollar. We literally ate out of dumpsters. Me and Clay slept in a large closet head to toe. That was how we like survived in this commune.
What the fuck, dude? What's the appeal to this?
Being incredibly free and a young libertine and meeting girls in Connecticut who let you sleep in their bed. It was just a really romantic time. Like I love Clay, and Clay and I, what we did was like really exciting and cool, and I was really proud of the music, and people liked our band. The 12 people who were at the show would really dig it. But, we'd go on tour from fucking Ithaca, go to New Jersey, do all of the northeast, and then we'd drive across the country, and that's how I got into touring and stuff. That's how I saw the country initially, was in that band. We lived in a van on the road. We slept in the van. We slept on floors. We slept.
Was it just the two of you, or was there a handful of you?
We had a singer for a minute. This guy Willie. He was really cool. And he went to Cornell, so he was like super smart, and all of his lyrics were like very informed by really cool like anarchists and shit, like Emma Goldman. So it was like political and stuff, but I mean, it wasn't anything about the money. It was definitely about seeing the country, meeting people, doing something that was very good. Like that band was very good. It was very niche. It was kind of like a noise punk band, kind of like the Minutemen met Lightning Bolt, but I was incredibly proud of it.
Do you think that a band like that could, if you had stuck with that, do you think
No, zero commercial viability. No.
Who were you looking up to at the time that y'all were?
Bands you've never heard of.
Name some bands. Some of these nerds might know them.
Japanther, Double Dagger, Lightning Bolt, all of the SST bands, those old hardcore bands like Black Flag and Minutemen and that kind of stuff. I like how the
names of these are all like fucking weapons you get in Fortnite or some shit.
Yeah, a lot of them sound like spells being cast.
Like Magic the Gathering cards. I lay down Japanther.
Yeah. Well, me and Clay played Magic growing up, so Magic still rules. My gamer tag on Marina is Joke Life, say what up. But yeah, no, the bands that we were into were definitely on labels who never made any money. Like we had such a small idea of success that we were like very successful.
Did you ever, but you didn't have a label.
No, we put out everything ourselves. I learned how to screen print through that band using pantyhose. Like this was in MySpace days. So like I would book our entire tours based on MySpace. And it was cool because people would be like, yeah, come play our house. We never met you before, but you can like sleep on our floor and we'll cook you dinner. It was very barter oriented.
Like Ignite hospitality type shit.
I mean, but in some guy's trailer in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was never, ever a hotel involved.
What's the hairiest situation you found yourself in on the road? Or a couple of them.
What was it? Montclair, New Jersey, the Meat Locker. We got there, and like me and Clay like really prided on ourselves on not like dressing in the punk rock costume, like the uniform.
Like so, with the leather jackets and studs and fucking chains
denim,
and,
mohawks, ripped jeans, Doc Martens, that kind of stuff. So like me and him would, I used to wear a denim long sleeve shirt for the Charter Academy my dad worked at. And Clay would wear basketball shorts and I'd wear basketball shorts. And we'd show up looking like, stepdads pretty much, dude. And there'd be all these like kids like dressed in like Misfits patches and stuff. And with like nose rings and like chains, like looking as tough as they could. And we'd be there, and they'd be like, "What? Who the fuck are these dudes? Like, they look like they're waiting for a pickup basketball game." And we just like lurk in the back of the room because even at the time at 22, like we were typically like, we didn't look cool at all. The only times that people thought we were cool is when we would play like Wesleyan University or Oberlin, like these like very small liberal arts schools where they had like small music scenes. But in Montclair, we went up, we headlined because we were the touring band. So we went up after this one band, and it was a bunch of kids and studs and stuff like you described, and they were doing a bunch of Oi covers and like Ramones covers. Then we went up there and did our
I've
like
only heard of the
far out.
Ramones.
I know, yeah. We did our far out like freak out jazz shit, and they hated us, and they were like busy, because I was always in the back because Clay was up front on bass, and they were like going after Clay, like physically violent towards him, and he smashed like a 15-year-old in the face with his the neck of his bass guitar, and then after that they loved us. So that was fun. Yeah, that like earned their respect. Like blood, broken nose. The kid was bloody, but he was like, "These guys rule." So we got off stage and we went in the back of the room, and all of our merch had been stolen while we were on stage, earning the respect of children. And that was like day 2 of the tour because I was New Jersey and we were going like all the way to like Denver or something. So that was just like a prototypical night in Red versus Black.
Oh man, is your music still? Is it listenable still? Like do you have to log into MySpace to go find it?
You know what? I think it's all on MySpace if it's anywhere. Because when we started Mouth House, it was all on Mouth Bomb Records, but the guy who ran that website killed himself, so all of our music dissolved.
Oh wow.
My friend Sam Gamgee, you probably remember Sam Gamgee. Yeah. So I don't know where that music is. I bet Clay probably has it, but I don't have it anywhere.
Red versus
Which
Black.
sucks. Yeah, Red versus Black, which was named after this lady. We used to go steal from this place called Wegmans. It was a grocery store in upstate New York, and we'd go and we'd steal from there because we were completely broke. And there was this lady who would wear sweatpants, and one cheek was red and one cheek was white or was black. So we used to call her butt Red versus Black because it was like a rock and donk, and that's where the name came from.
Ah, okay.
But it's also the anarchist flag is Red versus Black, so that also worked.
Okay. The anarchist flag is red. Let me Google this real quick.
Yeah, it's like a red triangle and a black triangle.
Images, Red versus Black flag. Ah, yeah. Okay, that's the anarchist one, huh?
Well, I mean, this is a fun story. One time we played in Maryland, and afterward we played at this like we would always play like the anarchist bookstore or like stuff like that, Emmy.
Yeah.
Just like places that no one would ever go to. I think it was actually Lansing, Michigan is where this happened. And they were like, we want to do a Q&A with you guys afterward about like your ideals and beliefs or whatever. And I was always like, that's stupid. But like Willie and Clay were both like, being like very well educated in all like the plight of the proletariat and stuff. And they asked Willie, they were like, Willie, so how do you identify? And Willie was like, well, I don't know. I think I'm like a Trotsky guy. Like, I think that, the proletariat will never be free as long as he's the proletariat. And they were like, oh, cool. And they were like, Clay, what do you think? And he was like, well, I think I'm, I don't believe in the state. I'm very anti-state. And I think that every man is born with one choice, and that's to be free or to kill himself, And they were like, Sam, what do you think? What are your, like, economic ideals? And I was like, well, I'm selling T-shirts. We have T-shirts and CDs for sale because the band doesn't run on ideals, So please, thank you for the quinoa you guys provided for us. But Jesus Christ, like, sorry to sell everyone out, but we definitely have $60 and we have to drive all the way to Montana. So help us out, everyone.
Did these people hate that? The fact that you were trying to get money?
No,
did they just want you to run on hopes and dreams?
No, I mean, they would always pass a hat. It was very much, it was cool, man. It was a collective thing. If you were on the road, all the money went to you, and the opening bands would play for free, which I think is why I still have a problem with, like, if you go on the road and, like, they pay all the openers, like, as an equal share. It's like, well, I did an hour, and I came from 4 hours away. Like, everyone gets the same amount of money. That sucks.
Right. What is the Alameda House?
Oh, Alameda House was cool. It was Alameda and Emerson. It was.
Oh,
I think you came over there.
that's
Where
where that little dude you were dating.
Yeah. Okay. Let's chill. uh, yeah. So it was a fun house. It was cool. I lived there with a bunch of people. We played a lot of music. I was arrested there once for a noise violation and went to jail without any shoes. So that was a fun highlight.
Typical
We had
Sam
it.
Talent attire.
Yeah, we had a cherry tree, and we would pick. No, they were plums, and we'd pick plums off the tree in the backyard and throw them at cars on Alameda, and then they would pull over and try and fight us, and we'd slap our chests and be manly. It was
This
it
is
was
the
a
one
real
that had
toxic time.
that chain link fence up front, correct? That kind of fenced in the house.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, right there.
So you were still in Red vs. Black then.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think Clay had moved back yet because I turned 20 in that house. I turned 21 in that house.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It was a sick house. I mean, I lived in band houses from like 18 until, I met my wife. I lived in Mouth House when I met Emily. So I just lived in spaces where you could jam at any time you wanted with up to 6 different musicians,
Did you want to be a musician more than you wanted to be a comic?
No, not in the least. Music was just like a fun thing. Like in high school, my parents, have you been out to my parents' house before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that clubhouse, like we would just set up in there with like a bunch of mushrooms, weed, and beer, and just have these like epic like day-long jam sessions where people would drop in and out, and yeah, it was just fun, dude. That was just like how I knew how to express myself until I got good at stand-up. I always wanted to be a comic. I didn't know you could do that. I thought you had to be like an improviser, and that was the only way in. I never liked stand-up growing up. Like I used to watch the specials and think they were cool, like Hedberg and like Pablo Francisco's half hour was insane to me. I fucking loved it,
I used to like Carlos Mencia's half hour on
Oh,
Comedy
dude, all
Central.
those half hours were insane. Remember that fat guy who did that Cheese and Children song, Trees, Cheese and Children? He was like Irish and he improvised his entire half hour.
Oh, wait.
That's how it was framed.
On Comedy Central?
Yeah.
Or
like,
Luke.
No, come on.
What was his name? The fake Scotsman.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. It was funny. He came to Colorado and was like, "Oh, you're a good chap, Sam. I love you. Let's go up to my brother's house in Fort Collins." And I went up there, and he was like, "Oh, this is me brother. He's me mate. We're the same blood kin." And then I was like, "Hey, I'm Sam." And his brother was like, "Hi, how you doing? I'm Matthew." He didn't have an accent at all. And that Luke guy didn't realize that I would, crack the code on that.
That dude was an anomaly. I remember doing a road gig.
Luke Ashlock.
Okay, yes, that's right. I remember doing a road gig with him, and he would just get shit-faced drunk.
Yeah. He was one of those guys that would take shots on stage to drive up bar sales.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was a panderer. Boy, he was a weirdo. Driving around in a little Honda Fit or something like that, or a little Honda Insight or some dumb little car like that.
Yeah.
Did you ever, when you were on the road, right?
Let me say this real quick. Remember that question you're about to ask. But guys like that was why I loved stand-up. Like those hucksters, those freaks, the Bombo Belfords of the world. Luke never did a wrong thing to me. I've heard nothing but nightmares about him. But he was always nice to me. He was always nice to my friends. He would always buy you a drink. Those people are gone. There's those the comics who are starting under us are just they're scam artists and frauds too. But they're not funny. You know what I mean?
he was funny. He could carry a show.
He was a hack, but he could fucking headline. I remember featuring for him at Looney's and he destroyed.
Yeah.
So say what you will, I do think there's a lot of good new comedy happening and there's a lot of really funny youngsters and shit, but I liked that side of stand-up. I liked the carnies. I liked the complete scam artists. That was fun.
Is that because of your time in the underground music scene? Because that seems like a kind of a carny-ish. You would be around carny-ish type people in your Red vs. Black days.
No, that's the complete opposite. The most sincere and earnest scene I've ever been a part of was the American hardcore scene of 2005 to 2010. It was a lot of promises being kept, a lot of people doing exactly what they said they were going to do for you, and then you offering the exact same thing in return to them. That's what Mouth House was built on, was pure sincerity. You know, it was like, come on out and like you can do a show at our house and we'll do our best to get everyone there to see you, and you can keep the entire door and we'll cook you dinner and stay at our house. We never met you before. We don't even really like your band, but you need a gig in Denver and we got this space. Like it was so overtly sincere that it was gross.
Interesting. Did that bleed
Yeah.
into you? Is that why you are kind of like that as well?
I mean, you know me, man. I like to fucking bust balls and goof around
Yeah,
and
but deep down,
have
I mean,
post-ironic detachment, but I'm a sincere guy,
right.
you
Do you
know?
think
So
that
yeah.
came from your time in the bands, or do you think that was instilled, like more from your formative years with your parents?
I mean, I was definitely raised right, but I think that I definitely learned how important a promise is to someone when they're out floating around America, you
Yeah.
know? And if someone does, like, you know, not honor a promise, it does suck. So I've tried to I think all I had for a long time was integrity. And I think that's why people liked me, because I tried so hard for such little cash that they were like, damn, dude, I wish we could pay you more. Next time you come through, we'll give you a better show.
That is such. I mean, I don't want to say that's the best feeling, but that's definitely a solid, like, confidence booster. You know what I mean? Like, it's an ego boost. Like, holy shit, you just blew our mind. Our bad for not.
Yeah,
This is all we have. This is everything we have.
right.
During this time, was there any time when you're, head to toe sleeping in a van with another dude, where you're like, what am I doing?
Dude, often sleeping with 6 dudes in a van because we'd be out with like opening bands. Like we took a band that opened for us from Elizabeth out I can't remember the name of the band. They were great though. It was a bunch of kids in my sister's grade, and so we would be out like fucking 5-6 deep, all living in a van, sleeping underneath the van, sleeping in the front seat, sitting up, like finding places to camp. Like I never ever was like, this sucks. That's for sure. I was always
Ever.
like, this is
Ever.
important.
There
No, I
was
don't
not a
think
time
so.
like when you're in a dumpster trying to get some fucking food, which are
Yeah.
your words.
Yeah. Getting bagels out of a dumpster, that was a big move.
There was no time that you're like, God, what the fuck are we doing?
No, dude, because every moment mattered. I had clear purpose every day. That's what I missed most about being on the road with a band is you would wake up in Spokane and all you had to do that day was survive long enough to get to Eugene, Oregon by 8 o'clock to do sound check. Like I loved that. Having a clear sense of purpose, like so it's so rare in life. Is
In
having
terms of
like
you don't have to worry about healthcare, retirement, your wife or girlfriend, you don't have to worry about.
yeah.
It's more that you don't have any responsibilities.
No responsibilities, but also just a driven purpose, like day to day having a purpose. Like that's cool. I loved that feeling.
Do you
I
not
never
have that
once.
now?
No, I mean because I do now, but it's like it's not as crystal clear. It doesn't burn as hot this fuel that is stand up. Especially having a modicum of success in stand up, like things are getting easier. You know, if you're sleeping in a hotel for 3 nights in Cincinnati, it doesn't have that that burning purpose of having to drive 8 hours from one gig for $40 to the next gig. I mean, finding a place to stay, it was like every day was an adventure, and that was a cool feeling. I never felt like I was wasting my time. That's for sure. Even when we'd show up and the opening band would have like 30 other friends there to watch, and then we'd go on and everyone would clear the room, I was still like proud of the fact that like we
That
were
you
able
could
to
still
affect
walk a
people.
room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Nah, man. So yeah, I mean, it definitely informed how I started doing stand up. Like I would go just on the road and sleep on people's floor for zero money, and like that's how I developed my like wide base of people I know.
Have people transitioned from running music venues and music houses like you went to, like Mouth House, Alameda House, all that stuff, into comedy? Or are they still in kind of music? Or did most of them just like hang it up like, this is dumb, I need to go have a 401k?
Yeah, a lot of those people like find God or apologize to their parents, and they like go work at their dad's bank. I mean, the people who run a lot of those places, like they were really pure for a while, and then they knock someone up, or I mean, Rhinoceropolis was a really pure place, and people ran that with integrity, and that was cool. But
What was that?
Rhinoceropolis was like the premier DIY venue in Denver. It was like 36th and Brighton Boulevard, 38th and Brighton.
Okay.
And that was where I saw like a lot of like the definitive shows. Like when I was coming up, when I was younger, I'd go there and see like really cool bands, like, you know, Dan Deacon. I saw Lightning Bolt there a couple times, like, and they ran that place and it was really cool. I saw Mike Marchant's band there a couple times. I don't know, man. That was just it was like the venue in Denver to see like weirdo music, and it was all ages. It was like $5 to get in, or you know, donations, whatever.
Rhinoceropolis. I assume in the Rhino area up there.
Yeah, I mean, hipsters are probably going off on it right now in the chat. They're like, "How do you don't know shit, Gil?" But it was cool.
I don't. You are right. That's why I want to learn, Sam T.
Oh, I know, and that's what I love about you is you're incredibly unhip, but you're a good friend, and you know, you're always willing to learn or pretend like you're interested in something.
I'm the most unhip there is. I've always, from day one, I've felt that way. Like I somehow find a way to infiltrate the cool kids, and like everyone loves me, and it's cool. But I am very unhip.
Well, it's because you've always been yourself, and I think that's like, you know, as hacky and cliche as that is, being yourself is the coolest thing you can be.
Well, it's very neurotic, and a lot of times I try not to be myself.
Yeah, but we all love that undistilled Gil.
David Borey's been trying to get me to go full Gil for years, and I'm like, I don't think people can handle it. Like, I don't think Hollywood can handle it. That's for sure.
Well, they can't handle non-full Gil too. So, I don't know, man. I think you do a good job of giving a version of yourself to the world that's more palatable. But once you get close to you, it's fun.
Yeah, don't get me talking about moms.
It's dangerous. You and your blue cocaine.
I forgot about the blue coat. I mean, that's just, you know.
Brent, you put up the most historic party performance I've ever seen. And I've been living in a party since I was about 15 years old. Your jersey is hung up in the rafters of debauchery, for sure.
I was bummed I didn't get to go for round 2 for this
Mexico
trip, man.
I know, man. We all were.
I feel like I could have done it. That was
a real dream team we assembled, too. I feel like we would have lost someone to the law or an aneurysm.
Well, that's why when Emily was like, so we do, for those of you listening, like we do, try to do as like once a year if we can to have a huge party. And we were going to go to Mexico this year. And when she said, like, we could take a ferry and go to an island or go to an all-inclusive resort, I'm like, don't put us on a fucking island.
No.
Someone is getting arrested, for
yeah, we can't
sure.
be around law enforcement at all.
The best we can do is be around, like, resort law. Like, that's fine. Put us in the resort jail. Don't give us real Mexico jail. That shit, that'd be fucking... That would be too much for all of us.
Oh, it'd be bad. Yeah. It's for the best that it got canceled.
I guess.
This virus is saving lives.
Well, you know, I was going to, I guess. Wait, did you say it's saving lives?
I mean, it saves one of our lives on that party trip, for sure.
Well, it's also true. Yeah, I guess that's true. For every one life saved, 1,000 lives lost. That makes sense. Yeah. Thanks, Corona. How much do you think your music life and your music career influenced your comedy career?
I mean, I already said it was like 100%. That was the only model I had to how to work the road, was what I learned when I was in the band.
And is that is that how you currently tour? Is based off of what you learned in Red versus Black?
Well, I mean, I built my network based with the same skills of, like, you know, emailing people and offering to come do shows for like donations or for passing a hat. And then the people who would book your shows eventually work their way up, and they start booking like a really good show that pays $400 quarterly, or they start working at a club, or they get really funny and they can help you get into places. So I think it was all very organic. That's the thing I'm most proud of in my career, is how organic everything's been. I mean, Hollywood's never given me any fucking love. I've got some TV credits, but that's just because people have like gone out of their way to convince people to give me a shot. Sure. So, yeah.
Why
having
do you
the
think
respect
that
of my
is?
peers is cool. Because I've never fucking gone to LA for a week like everyone and done flappers in Burbank. You know?
Do you think it's because you haven't tried to like go to New York? You've only tried to go on the road. Like, has this been your plan forever to do kind of like a grassroots organic growth versus Anything else? Like, has that knowingly been your plan, or is that just how it unfolded for you?
Well, saying it was a plan is patting myself on the back too much. I was just fucking throwing spaghetti at the wall. And then
Okay.
the more and more spaghetti that stuck, the more I figured out what worked and what didn't work. But I've always had to fucking, you know, I've done everything the hardest, dumbest way. And I think that if I would have moved to LA or New York when I was 23, I probably, could have had one more TV credit. But I've always wanted to, I've always wanted to do more time for sure. So if you go to Ames, Iowa, you can do 45 minutes before you
Right.
have 45 minutes.
Right.
So I've always wanted to do the most time possible. I've always wanted to be in a situation where I can make money because I never had a job since I drove an ice cream truck when I was 21. So that's always been important, is at least making some money. You don't make money in LA or New York. I have the same thing as you where I never feel cool. I've never felt cool enough to go to LA and do the cool shows. And whenever I'm on the cool shows, because I get to do them now, I have a chip on my shoulder because I think everyone else on the show couldn't do an hour in South Dakota like I can.
Right.
So I think everyone's a wuss and a fraud, even though they're just nice people who have different careers. I have a lot of issues, I could work on some shit.
Do you think that you struggle in cool shows or on cool shows?
For sure. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think I've ever had a good set at Good Heroin, but apparently I did because that's one of the reasons I got JFL was the set I did on Good Heroin. But I had a good set at Hot Tub. That was a big fucking step forward for me.
Yeah.
I finally got to do Hot Tub, and I did it the night of the Oscars or after the Oscars or the
Yeah.
Grammys. So
Yeah.
no one was there that could have helped me at all in my career.
And
So
you
that
have
was
a fucking
fun.
smoking show.
Yeah, I had a great set, dude. It was cool.
Is
But,
that what prevents you from coming out here more? Is that feeling of these shows suck?
No. What really honestly keeps me going out there more is that I have a wife, and when I go on the road now, I'm trying to make $1,200 to $1,500 if I'm going to be gone from my wife. My time is worth a certain amount of money now, to do a weekend.
Right.
And it's tough for me just to be like, hey, baby, I'm going to go out to LA for a week and do a bunch of shows that don't pay to, not get an agent because I don't live there.
But that's the game.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of different games, dude. That's
What
the
game
thing.
are you playing? Yes, you are correct. There are a bunch of different games, and you are playing your own game. But do you know what game you're playing?
No, but I also know that Sean Patton's not famous, and he's the fucking funniest guy there is. So the industry has no idea what the fuck's going on. I did JFL. I saw how little they gave a shit about me, even though all the comics I did JFL with were like, hey, man, I've heard you're funny. My roommate loves you. This is cool. I like your shit. It's just the industry's fucking blind, and it's an old vestigial tale, and we don't need agents or managers to have a nice life. Also, what's success? What's success? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Well,
getting that's based off of you.
Doing a Comedy Central half hour and walking away after taxes and paying your agent and manager with $4,000 to give away a half hour of material when you can make that in a month on the road.
Right.
It's just, I don't get it, dude. I don't know.
I definitely think that, and David and I were talking about this. We were going through all the specials on Amazon Prime yesterday, and we were watching the trailers, and we were watching them, and it doesn't seem to me like that's the method anymore, right?
No.
Apparently,
if you get a TV credit, a late night credit, how many people watch that? 3,500 people watch TV. How many people see a Corden before it goes on YouTube? I'm serious.
Live, sure.
I'm not begrudging the people who followed that path, and they're probably getting booked at clubs easier because they have more of those old credits on their flyer. It's all good. I don't begrudge anyone their success, but I do typically walk into a room and say, God, no one else is funny.
Do you think that's what kind of do you feel held back at all by not going after the traditional path?
I used to, until people who have better credits than me were hitting me up to get booked on shows I was doing.
Yeah.
I'm a live act, man. I don't really translate to television. I love performing an hour in front of people who want to see me, and I think I'm successful, and I'm happy. You know, you always want more, but I've been doing stand-up since I was fucking, you know, before I could drink beers. It's defined my entire adult existence. Like, I got to figure out stuff that isn't stand-up that I can get off to, because stand-up's my job now. It's like, as much fun as I have on stage, like, it's the other 23 hours, the other 22 hours that are like, you know, those are the tough ones to fill.
Dude, the day job aspect of this career path is fucking brutal.
Right, but like also we're incredibly lucky to just derive our income from stand-up.
True. Yeah.
You know, and like also like I don't have any shame in saying that I'm doing better now on the road, because I never had money forever. You know, I was fucking destitute forever, and that was a choice that I made to get to the point where I can do this now. I like put in those hours, but I didn't have any security. I was sharing a bed with Lund in Mouth House. Like I was, you know, befriending girls who would take pity on me and let me come home and take a shower and sleep in their bed. Like, Emmy didn't like that, but you know what I mean.
Of course.
Like me being on the road was cool because I always like got a free bar tab. I got a place to sleep. I got a free meal out of it. Like it was also a survival mechanism.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
And
Because it's
I'm
almost
sure that,
like instead of staying at Mouth House, you now have hotel with a shower and a fucking paycheck. And okay, gotcha.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. Then what is if because obviously right now everything's going to be different from here on out. Corona's going to change everything. We're all scrambling to figure out how to continue this career path. And you are exactly right. This is weeding out. This is the fire that is tearing through the industry and just taking out all the bullshit people, and then people can start growing up from there, right? So what then is your plan from here? Right?
And also, when we say bullshit people, it's also, when I would say bullshit people, those people typically have 60,000 Instagram followers. So like we sound like old men typically. You know what I mean? Like we sound like the way that fucking Baxley and Baumhour used to sound. Like we're old dogs. We come from a different era of stand-ups than what is new. You know, like I've never TikToked, I've never Snapchatted. I think Instagram stories are narcissistic and dumb. So like these people who were like, oh, they're not real comics, like they have nice lives, you know, like it's totally fine. But I don't know. Success is probably like buying a house, you know, and having kids and like having a nice life, you know?
How are you going to achieve that though?
I mean, me and Emmy are moving to Fort Collins because she got into residency up there, and we're buying a house.
Right. Oh, you're buying a house.
Yeah.
Well, there's no better time to buy it than right now, and everything's fucking collapsed.
For real.
Good time to swoop in.
Yeah, I know. And it does feel like war profiteering, but like the market's bottomed out. It's a good time to invest any money you have.
Right.
And it'll look great in 10 years.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's my plan for sure.
But like, dude, I have success. I have great friends. I have a great wife I love who's doing cool stuff. I'm able to go work cool rooms, you know. I'd like to get into Acme and Comedy on State. You know, that'd be cool. But I don't know. I'm putting out a special. I'm going to put out my book. Like, those are cool projects to have. And just having to respect the funny people is cool. Like, when we did that Will Smith thing, like, hanging out with, like, Shane Torres, Sean Patton, and David Bory, and not feeling like I didn't deserve a seat at that table, like, that was cool. That's a cool feeling, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And Clayton English. My God.
Clayton's the man. Yeah,
Fucking
Clayton rules.
dude.
Everyone on there was great. I mean, Chris Estrada. Chris Estrada does comedy that, you know, I couldn't do. Megan Gailey was really funny. Like, everyone on that thing was really funny.
Will Smith seems to do a pretty good job at curating his content very well. You know what I mean?
Well, it was Hannah and Lance Bangs who picked out everyone.
Hannah Crichton?
Yeah.
Oh,
to my knowledge, it was like Lance, Hannah, and then like Will's assistants are all ex stand-ups, you know?
Okay.
Like Turner Barrowman and stuff. So it was a really cool time capsule to be included in. I was like grateful for that.
Yeah. Now, did you use any of this in your special?
No. The special, we did 13 shows across the country, like, you know, in like rooms that I love. It was my favorite rooms, you know, like Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and Birmingham, or Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Just places where I like to go and like feel strong, you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What now? So for those people that don't know, have been in production for your first comedy special that you're kind of doing everything for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the money came from Big Top, but like Jim's been the man. He's been totally cool. His only note after I told him what I wanted to do was let's use better cameras so we can shop this to Netflix. So like
Yep.
it's been very organic. My crew is people I've known since like 3rd grade. I've known my director since like Montessori school. So it's really cool. It's everything I want the special to look like, I think.
Is it already shot?
Yeah, the last weekend that America was open, like St. Patrick's Day weekend, that was the last 4 shows we did.
Wait, your St. Patrick's Day, the country was still open for you?
So let's see,
Wasn't that
on
3/17?
Yeah, 3/17. So that Wednesday I had a show and nothing was weird. That Thursday I was in Wisconsin and nothing was weird yet. And then
you're
like
middle of the country. Gotcha.
yeah, but like the night of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, that was when they were like, look, this is like really bad. No one should go out. No one should be in groups of more than 6 people. So the next day, like we sold out in Minneapolis and only like 2/3 of the people showed up.
Oh, wow.
And then in Kansas City, the venue canceled the show. So I had to scramble and like find a venue day of.
Wow.
Yeah. So like,
Talk
was
to me
it
about
like,
this special. Because it's kind of a unique way to go. Like you're going to these different places. It's not like your traditional comedy special where you're in one place, you do 1 hour, and that's that.
Right.
Like what's your idea behind this?
I don't know, man. It's gonna be like arty. I want it to look cool and like take chances, but I don't want it to be pretentious. That's like a real fine line. But you know how I am, man. I get away with pretension because it comes off as
I was gonna
sincerity.
say, dude, you're king pretentious.
Come on. It's folksy. I just don't know any better. It's not pretension if you're naive, you know? So, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that the one we did in Lincoln was literally the only comedy show happening in America that night.
Wow.
It was the Sunday that we all went into quarantine.
Yeah.
And
That
like
was the
people
first
still
Sunday
showed
off
up.
for me, yeah.
Yeah.
Or for Boulder at least. 3/8 was our last one, I think, in Boulder.
Yeah, so that following weekend I was in Lincoln.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And we still had like 70 to 80 people there. So
What's the plan for it? So like you're doing it's going to be cut in between all these things. Are you doing the same hour or are you doing the Sam Tallent show? Is it more like what should we expect for seeing this? Because I've seen you live a ton.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And your show is very eclectic, I guess, is a good way to
Sure.
say it.
Yeah, if you don't have a good vocabulary, that's one way to put it.
Okay.
It's no, man. I don't know. Imagine there's gonna be lots of shots of sunsets and like me and like in the ocean while the sun's going down, and like old bridges and dilapidated buildings in Rust Belt America, interspersed with me doing stand up.
So it's a lot of B-roll, is what your show is. So,
yeah, I mean, I want it to look like.
So for the first time you told jokes, repeatedly, and then you realized how good your jokes actually were, and you're like, we should just fill this up with B-roll, and then just kind of cut.
That rules. No, man. I wanted it to look like Comedians of Comedy because no one's done that in a long time.
Yeah.
Like Comedians of Comedy is fucking 20 years old.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, that was a definitive special for me. Like, I loved that. So, it's gonna be, funny forward as all the suits are saying and shit. But also, like, this is what it looks like to be on the road. It's not like glamour and glitz. It's like me selling T-shirts after fucking killing and no one knows who my name is. Like that kind of vibe.
Right.
Yeah.
How was the experience crafting your concept for the thing, finding your team for it, and then executing it? Like, what was that experience like for you?
Incredibly
was it all
easy.
consuming? Oh, really? It was very easy.
Yeah, it was wild, man. I mean, my cinematographer is my friend Bonzo. You know him,
Yep.
who's a gifted photographer. And I was like, well, let's see what he can do with a $18,000 camera. And my director, me and Bori did his student film, and I've known him since we were, all these people are like very good friends of mine. And I hit up Jim after Montreal and was like, hey man, I want to like film a special. And he was like, let's do it. So
Cool.
I booked the whole thing. Every venue I wanted said yes. We only had one cancellation, and that was in Kansas City, and that was
Were you
because there was a
booking it?
fucking pandemic.
Were you booking it on like, hey, I'm doing my special. This is the idea of the special. I'd like to come to your spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you
but I
knew
mean,
right away that you wanted to do a kind of like a mashup type of a
yeah,
storyline.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's just from watching like cool documentaries and shit. Like I like skate videos. I like Hale County tonight and this morning. Like there's all these like cool documentaries that are being done, and it's like, well, why can't we do that with stand up? Also, a lot of stand up specials are really bad. Like, and I'm funny. So like,
Dude.
I mean, I definitely am trying to recreate what it looks like to see my set, but I'm also, every night I made sure that I hit the same half hour of jokes. So, like my gay camp counselor bits in there, Uber driver will be in there, like wife masturbating, all the hits are in there. And then there's
Sure.
like also, we had 3 cameras. So there's a camera on the crowd every night. In Cincinnati, a guy almost gave me a gun. Like he had a gun
Nice.
on him and he like almost handed it to me. And that's going to look fun on camera. So there's those like eclectic moments in there, as you would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be cool, man. I'm really excited about it.
That's great. So
The worst part is like having to watch all the sets right now because I'm watching all the sets.
13
and
of them, right?
13-hour sets, dude. And that sucks.
How much crowd work are you trying to put in there? Are you trying to focus on using the least amount of jokes that you can to preserve that material, or are you done with it? You're ready to get over it.
I want to kill the material, but also I have an offer to put out an album. So it's like, obviously I want to put those jokes on an album if I could to kind of like double monetize. But if a joke looks really good and it, like it feels right, it's going in there. There is some crowd work and there is riffing and shit, but.
But are you intentionally keeping it, or are you, because that's the Sam Tallent show, in my opinion.
I'm putting in the stuff that I think is funniest. Like when I watch
Okay.
something and I laugh at it, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Let's make a note of that and put that
Yeah.
in there. Or at least try to, because like we're gonna have like 45 minutes of stand up and then like it's like a 72-minute special.
45 minutes of stand up, 30 minutes of B-roll. I know how you work.
Yeah. But like also the B-roll can be like the B-roll can also, I mean, just check it out. I don't want to fucking give away too many of what's going on, but
what's the end goal for this? Where's the outlet? Like, what are you trying to, like, where is it? Do you
Wait,
have
Pornhub?
that established yet? Well, of course. I've wanted to pair up my comedy special with Pornhub for years. Since they did Wheeler Walker Jr., the Big Titty song, or whatever it was. They did the world release of that. Then they started doing world releases of several hip hop or like songs.
Yeah.
So but for real though, because if you have an in with Pornhub, we're gonna have to share that information here in a little bit.
I mean, we're trying to sell it to, like we have meetings with like all the big ones that you'd want to meet with.
Yeah.
So we're in the process of, on Monday we all like start Skyping and putting it together. But right now it's like them gathering the B-roll they like and me gathering the jokes I like.
Do you fear the hip pocket move? Do you fear someone's gonna buy your special and then just kind of like have the rights to it and do what they will with it?
No,
Re-edit
because
it, if you will.
No, I mean I don't know, dude. That would suck, but. Here's something to think about too: is like no one's filming any comedy specials for God knows how long. So like it's definitely a seller's market, I think.
It's a good time for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
And there's also the cool angle of like we did the last couple shows that were allowed by law in comedy.
Right.
So I don't know. If we get a lump of money and then someone fucking chops it up and does what they want with it, then. That's
I was
what
just
happens.
going to ask that. Would you take the money over the artistic integrity over it?
No, I'd take the money, man.
Really?
I mean, integrity's great until you have to, fucking pay bills.
Now, you just said, though, that having the respect of your peers is kind of your number one.
Yeah, but I'm going to give them something that's like, like I said, arty and stuff. And if they chop it down to just my killer jokes, then that's fine. I mean, I don't know what to do, dude. I mean, would you not sell your special and then sign off?
I don't know. I mean, I recently looked at or discovered that who's his face, Jay Leno, never done a comedy special in his life.
Yeah. I think Seinfeld
kind of
only did
interesting.
one, too.
And it might have been the one where he was rebuilding his set.
Yeah.
So,
but he also did Comedian.
Right, that was the one where he's rebuilding his set.
Right, but then okay, that's what I'm talking about. And that was a documentary. That was a movie.
Right. And I think they shot the special. I think the set he was working on, they shot as the Seinfeld special. I think. I could be wrong. If that's the case,
Seinfeld doesn't put stuff out because he doesn't want to burn material. He's like, I like doing jokes from 20 years ago. I'm always adding to jokes. But I don't know, dude. Like, it's cool. I mean, I want to be punk rock and I want to be like ultra firm on my beliefs, but this is showbiz.
This is a
and
job.
if you're gonna be involved in showbiz, you got to be okay with playing with their twisted rules. You know, like if Amazon buys it or fucking Netflix buys it, I mean, that's great. That's a win. And
Sure.
just having the credit of it being on those cool streaming platforms, like that's all you're trying to get is, you know, a couple extra more Instagram followers and some cash in your pocket.
I mean, you were not wrong. It
Doesn't
seems
that
like
that sucks?
It
I'm
seems like
giving
the whole
away-
game now is all about how many fucking followers you have, or you know, how many people give a fuck about you.
Yeah, I
At
know.
one time.
I know. It's insane.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, you're very busy. You have a comedy special that is currently being edited, and you just finished the first draft of your novel?
Nah, dude, I'm on draft 7. I mean, it's done.
It's done.
The book's done. It's been copy edited. It's like ready to print. I mean, I got a cover done. I got the foreword. Kanane's doing the foreword. I've got jacket quotes from a bunch of like famous people about how good the book is. The book's the best thing I've ever done for sure. The book's like the peak of my artistic output.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude, it's cool. And it's like arty and it's well written. It's not funny. It's like bleak, you know. It's cool. It's really good. I'm really proud of it.
What is the book like an autobiography?
No, it's a novel about a road dog. It's pretty much like if Baxley and Laurie Callahan were the same person.
Oh wow.
You know, just like people who drink too much and like, you know, pop too many pills and do shows in New Mexico for like little money and live by their t-shirt sales. Like that guy, the guy we don't want to turn into.
Right. Is that it? Is a lot of it you expressing your fear for that future?
It's definitely the guy I don't want to be.
Really?
It's the guy. I mean, dude, it's heavy. You would relate to it completely. I mean, because you know the people it's about.
Sure.
Like there's a bunch of stories in that book that we've heard from the old guard. There's a bunch of like examples that we've seen laid out by people who were the funniest people in the world, except for the fact that they couldn't go on stage without drinking a fucking bottle of whiskey.
Half of whiskey, right.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's just it's sick, dude. I'm really excited about it.
What possessed you to write this?
I've always written. I love reading. I love novels.
Right.
And that's like something I've always done is read novels. And, you know, that's just the way you learn how to write is by reading really good authors and then kind of like pecking away and figuring out the tricks that they've used and stuff.
Was this more of like a self-exploration for yourself?
No, I mean, I was like writing one thing. I got like 40,000 words into one thing. And then like and then that thing turned into like 20,000 words on another thing. And then that thing, like a chapter of that book turned into this book. And this thing is like, you know, I think 130,000 words or whatever, 180 words. I can't remember what the final is now.
Do you ever think to yourself, who the fuck do I think I am? I'm writing a fucking a book?
I would think that, dude, if I wasn't so proud of the book. Like
really?
Dude, that's the thing is like I sent this book off to some people I really respect, like good authors and shit, and been like, hey man, well like you read the first 3 chapters of this and tell me if it's garbage, and all of them were like, please send me the rest of this. This is like surprisingly great.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever written a book before?
No, I've written short stories, never a book.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in Vegas, dude, and Emily would be gone all day, and I'd be lonely, and I would just wrote all day, then cook dinner, and then wrote into the night.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was finished before I moved back to Vegas, or moved back from Vegas.
The first rendition of the novel was. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting. Did you want to do this for you? Or did you like, good merch, let's get... Because there's a lot of comics that have books, but it seems like a lot of their books are...
They're all memoirs.
They're all memoirs, right.
Yeah.
Which is
mean,
what
like,
I expected yours to be, because you've already led a pretty fun life. I also would have thought pretty arrogant of Sam, right down his alley, though, to write a memoir at fucking 32 years old.
No, I mean, I've always wanted to be an author. I'll say that. I've always wanted to be well respected for being an author, which is insane. No one really knows that, but like I love reading. I think the highest art form is like a well-crafted novel, and it's also the hardest thing I've ever done because you don't know if it's good until it's done. You're just like doing this thing that's like really hard, and you're like typing
Is this
1,000
worth it?
words during an 8-hour period. And you're like, fuck, did I just waste an entire day? And then you read it the next day and you're like, fuck, I wasted an entire day. I mean, it was rough, dude. It was gnarly, but I'm really proud of it. I can't say enough how proud I am of it. The thing is, though, is like I had an agent at UTA who's like insanely successful. This guy Bird, who like did a bunch of like really good memoirs. And my friend Mishka like plugged me into
Shivali?
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mishka's been like the biggest champion of this book. Nothing would have happened after it was done without Mishka. So like
okay.
he's been the total like doula for this thing, man. And he plugged me in with he connected me to his agent, this guy Bird at UTA. And he was like, all I can do is have him read the book. And I can't even promise he'll do that. And he read it and he loved it. And he's like, I'm going to do everything to get this thing published. And then he sent it off to a bunch of like huge publishing houses. And they were like, this is great, but like the market for a literary novel about a broken man without any hope is so small that we can't like take a chance on this. This book needs to come out through a publishing house who will give you like $5,000, and that's like all the money you get from it.
More like a publishing clearinghouse as well.
Hey, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know, but the behind the scenes of books is like really insane, and the margins are so slim that we parted ways, him and I, because
it's that disheartening.
well, yeah, I mean, he was cool, dude, but he kept hitting me up and being like, I'm blowing it. And I'd be like, no, you're great at your job. And then, like, a year went by and he was like, I'm still blowing it. And I'm like, yeah, I think you're blowing it, dude. But, like, at the same time, he would be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't focus on your book right now because I'm literally helping the Duchess of York finish her memoir. Like, he would hit me up from, like, a castle and be like, sorry, dude, like, I'm in a castle for the next 2 weeks helping this person finish their book.
Whoa.
So I get it. He's insanely successful. He did he did like Haddish's book and like a couple of Chelsea Handler's books. Okay.
We're almost done. Don't worry, Emily.
No, we just got dinner ready.
In 10
So now I'm in
minutes.
the situation where I'm like, if I put it out, I can make more money if I release it myself. But my ego really wants it to come out through like a publisher.
What publishing house, or how has the process been for trying to find a publisher?
We got close a couple times, but the first time we got close, he was like, I want more money for this thing. I also think he was more obsessed with the screenplay because it'll be like a good like eight episode series on Netflix or whatever. But
Gotcha.
yeah, so now I'm in the situation where there's like another agent who likes it, but I'm kind of determined to just put it out myself because I've lacked patience, and also I know I'll make more money if I put it out myself based on everything I've learned about publishing.
By self-selling it, or by having an independent publisher put it out?
Self-publishing. The most respected like coffee house books, like there's all these like great imprints that I love to read their books, and it turns out they never offer more than like $5,000 per book.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean sometimes they offer more if you're like a guy who's got like 3 books done, or like, you know, like if you're a lady who fucking was like well respected after their first book, they'll get more money. But like your first novel never makes any money, dude.
So really, it's just like your first special or your first album, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it? So the book was really just for you. Did you know getting into, like, you just wanted to get that out of your system?
I was just writing a bunch, and then
Are you gonna write another book?
Yeah, I'm like probably 75% done with the next novel.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But it's been hard to write that book because I've been so disheartened by the process of getting this one published.
It makes you wonder why people are even writing books to begin with.
Yeah, I mean,
And why are
kind
you
of.
writing books and not writing screenplays or scripts or shit like that?
I know. That's the thing. It's like books are not they're not profitable, dude. They're not there's not a big market for literary fiction. There's no
Sam,
vampire in it. No one's a pirate, you know.
you've never made the smartest decisions, but you've made the most passionate ones.
Thanks, man. That's a very nice compliment. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I've never taken the easy route. I was like, oh, stand-up's too easy. I'm going to become a novelist.
That'll do it. That'll be
Yeah.
the one there I can spend my time on and really have it pay off.
Right, and like there's all these novelists that are like the most well-respected, like Pulitzer Prize winners, like MacArthur Genius Grant people. And people will be like, oh, I like to read too. Like, who do you like? And I'll be like, oh, Dennis Johnson, Otessa Moshfegh. And they're like, I've never heard of these people. Like, and these are like in the literary world, like they're huge. They're fucking monuments. And still people who like do read have never heard of these people that I enjoy.
Whoa.
It's weird, man.
I don't know what to say about that.
I don't either. But
Does that
I mean-
but like how is so is okay, so that means that probably the book industry is a lot like the TV industry, that just because it's made doesn't mean it's going to be good. It seems like they're searching for certain things to check off certain boxes.
yeah, I think so. I think that's a fair situation. Like, you know, Twilight, like that's not like a well-written book. Like the prose is weak. Like there's not a lot of like, you know, denouement. It's like, but like it still sold, you know, almost 1 billion copies or whatever.
Why don't you write like a like
I've thought about
erotic-
it, dude.
Like an
I've thought about it. I've thought about writing a bodice ripper or writing like a Tom Clancy type thing about like a spy who's also a comedian. Like just making a bunch of money off a
contract
book.
kill people.
Yeah, dude. I've had that idea. That's completely an idea I've had.
Why aren't you writing that book?
Because
Tom
I
Clancy
couldn't,
this shit.
because I wouldn't. It wouldn't be good. It'd be a paycheck. You know what I mean?
Well, Sam, this is a job, dog.
No. The comedy's the job.
Okay.
This is how I can be like creative and artistic is through writing style and like, you know, jerks himself off, but I want the most laughs per minute I can get.
Sam,
So-
if you think your show is not just an hour display of you jerking yourself off, then you don't know your comedy.
I don't.
You better watch that. You better watch those 13 shows that you recorded for that special and fucking just take notes on how much you're jerking yourself off on stage.
But they're eating it. They love it. They got their mouths open. They're waiting for the seed.
Oh God. Well, I wish you the best of luck for that book. I would like to read it if you want to fucking send it. How many pages is it?
Here, I got a copy.
Oh.
It's 222 pages.
Jesus Christ. That's a lot
Yeah,
of
dude.
pages.
It's a real book, brother.
I think the most I've ever read was like 120. No, I don't know. It's not long.
Well, what's cool about this book is like a lot of people who I've given it to have been like, I don't read. I haven't read a book in a while. And I'm like, well, you'll like this because it's about stand-up or it's about like, you know, a guy like you who needs a second chance. And then they're like, dude, I read that book in like a week. That was sick.
You can send me a digital copy.
Yeah, I'll send you a digital copy.
Send me a digital copy.
All
Do you have a release date for your special? Are you going to try and do it on your website first, or are you going to wait to see what offers you get?
No, we're going to sell it to someone.
Okay, cool.
I mean, there's a couple places that have been like, hey, man, like, if you can't sell that anywhere else, like, we'll take it.
But
like
they won't
some,
pay
like-
you as much.
No, but, like, they're, like, very reputable places, you know?
Right. Like Comedy Dynamics and 800 Pound and those things.
No, like,
Third
bigger
man?
than that. Like, I don't want
wow.
to, I have, like, there's, like, lawyers and stuff involved and everything, but, like, you know,
Sure.
Like our worst case scenario would probably still be like pretty sick, you know.
Nice.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, that can all change.
Yeah.
I gotta
Yeah.
eat dinner, but
That's fine, man. We are at the end of our convo, so
is anyone still
y'all.
watching?
Oh yeah, y'all
Really?
about meandering. Oh, y'all about
Yeah.
meandering. Uh, Brent has been getting his mind blown all night. Well, Sam, you're a mind blowing character. I do want to say thanks for stopping in and chatting with me. I'd always wanted to hear about your time in Ithaca, New York, in a band. It always has blown my mind that you're a fucking punk rocker, and you're still kind of in a band, Big City Drugs. Yes.
No.
In your face, Kevin O'Brien.
I mean, I love Kevy, but he doesn't live here, and Corey Healy doesn't live here, and Bobby's moving, so no. I want to be in a band. If anyone wants to be in like a fucking dark blues band, I want to play drums for it.
Sam, is there anything that you want to pitch right now that people can go find right now?
I'm sure all these people just already follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. That'd be cool.
Cool.
I mean,
his thing is right there on the screen.
yeah, and
Sam
like look
Tallent.
out for the announcement on the book pretty soon. Either way, I'm gonna.
Okay.
My birthday's on May 2nd. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
So, look for some news around then, probably.
On May 2nd. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question. Who's Sam's favorite member of Big City Drugs?
Oh, I can't pick my kids. I can't do that. I mean, if Kevin's asking, he knows who my least favorite member is. That's for sure.
That's for sure a Kevin O'Brien question.
No,
right there.
yeah, but it's not. Kevin. I love Kevin. You know what? Say what you will about Big City Drugs. That was Kevin's fucking baby. He drove that entire truck, and all those songs are his. So
Wow.
he did a really good job in that. Yeah, I mean that was fun, dude. It was just a fun thing to do. I'm proud of that album we put out. It's fucking good. I'm gonna use one of those songs in the special, I think.
Better than Red versus Black?
No, definitely not. And I
I'm
think
gonna go on MySpace and try and
Kevin
find
would
that.
agree with that too. Everyone in that band would agree that Red versus Black was very good.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Red versus Black was pretty much like the same way that like we all respect like I don't know, like a Maria Bamford. Like she's a total weirdo, but comics understand that she's fucking amazing. Whereas like if my mom and dad watched Maria Bamford, they'd be like, well, this isn't for me. I think that's how my first band was. It was people who knew about music respected it and loved it.
Damn. Well,
Yeah.
I hope we can find it. If anyone can find that stuff, please send that. Send
You know
that
who
over
has
to
it
me.
all? Aaron
Who?
Wentz has it all. I'll hit him up and ask for it.
Yeah, get that content, dude.
Yeah.
Do some throwback Thursdays. Join these thirsty comics on.
Nah, dude. No, I'm too busy. I'm too busy going on long walks and reading and being nice to my wife.
I have started reading, which is weird for me too. So that's why I want to read your book.
What are you reading?
I'm reading Dan Jenkins, Dead Solid Perfect. He's a writer for Sports Illustrated. Golf stuff is what
Oh,
it is.
cool.
It's like it's a fiction novel about back in the day in like the 70s, the whole golf era. And this,
Sounds great, man.
Yeah.
Anything you're reading is good. You should
Yeah.
read Norm Macdonald's book, man. That's a good, like, easy way to read a really smart book that's also really funny.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm also going to tap into these two books. It is they're two essays written by a doctor of something. First one is on bullshit.
Okay.
It's an essay on bullshit, and then the follow-up is an essay on truth.
So the first book's about your act, and the second one's about mine.
Well, wrong kind of truth, wrong context.
I'm surprised. I was hoping you were going to hold up Mein Kampf.
What a way to end the episode on a nice Mein Kampf reference.
And not the Carl Orsgaard one. I'm talking, tiny mustache. Emmy got mad at me because I wanted to shave a Michael Jordan in during quarantine, and she was like, no. So that was fun.
Well, tell her thank you for sparing you for this time. And
Well, Emmy, you want to say goodbye?
I love you, Emily. I wish I could see you right now, but it sounds like he hung up the phone. That's fucking great. He went to change. When he went to change the camera over and literally just fucking hung up the phone. Let's get out of there. Anyway, that was Sam Tallent, everyone. Kinga, I would have done it if he wouldn't have fucking hung up the phone. But hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much to Sam Tallent for being a part of the show and for opening up about his days in the punk rock band Red vs. Black. If anyone can find them before Sam does, or if anyone remembers them, I'd love to hear about it. Shoot me an email at thebrentgillep.com. No, at Gmail, excuse me. The Brent Gill EP at gmail.com. Keep a lookout for Sam Tallent. Make sure you follow him on Instagram if you're not already doing that, at Sam Tallent. And thanks for tuning in. We're going to be back with more episodes. We're going to take the weekend off, and we'll see you next week. If you're not following me, I announce when I'm going live on there. I am Brent Gill. And I'm putting these all up on podcasts as well under the Brent Gill Show. I have episode 1 up along with about 37 episodes of information. So make sure you check out that on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, the works. Thanks for tuning in. I love you guys. Thanks so much to Sam Tallent. Thanks to the chat room for being so active tonight. It was fun chatting with you guys. And I will stay safe, wash those hands, and let's do bong rips. Comedians in quarantine bong rips. You know how it works. We'll see you guys next time. We're going to head out with some... How about... Hey, dude, let's go back to some Lazy Boy Blues. Here we are. I love you all. We'll see you next time. Goodbye. That goes here. Later, y'all.